Welcome to SAT TV News. I am Alicia George. In our top stories, suspected suicide in Marigot. Small islands beacons for the rest of the world. 500,000 Iraqi civilians flee Mosul fighting. And in sports, Southwest District wins primary schools football championship. Details of these will follow.
Swimming? Yeah, I like swimming.
Dancing? Yeah, I love dancing. I love hanging out with my girls. I really miss them. My home.
And football too. I like football. I ain't too good, but I have some skills.
At the same time, I'm scared. What if they don't miss me or care about me?
Oh, yeah, and Papo. He's the first person I want to hug when I get out. But he don't come and see me. I guess he ashamed.
I'm lost. What if?
For youth offenders, not knowing if we still love them is more than punishment. Give them hope beyond bars.
Welcome back. Police are investigating a suspected suicide in the community of Marigot after 54-year-old Alan Frank was found hanging by his neck from a tree at about 8:30 a.m. on June 11, 2014. According to Police Public Relations Officer Inspector John Carbon, the body was pronounced dead at the scene by a district medical officer and later transported to the Northeastern Funeral Home. A coroner inquest has convened and a post-mortem will follow. Investigations are continuing. The World Bank has predicted a 1.7% GDP growth rate for Dominica in 2014. This was revealed in the bank's recent mid-year Global Economic Prospects report, which included its updated growth projections for the Caribbean. Within the Caribbean, Guyana was projected to post the biggest improvement with a forecast of 4.4% growth, followed by the Dominican Republic at 4% and Haiti at 3.6%. In the wider Caribbean basin, Panama led the way with a projected GDP growth rate of 6.8% in 2014. Regionally, however, the bank said growth remained broadly flat in Latin America and the Caribbean, reflecting stable or declining commodity prices, the continued slowdown in China, the drop in first quarter U.S. GDP growth, and domestic challenges. Growth rate for other countries included Colombia 4.6%, Belize 2.5%, St. Vincent 1.7%, Jamaica 1.1%, and St. Lucia 0.9%. The report did not include GDP data for overseas territories or for Antigua, the Bahamas, Barbados, or Grenada. Several non-governmental organizations, NGOs, gathered at the Public Service Union building on Wednesday, June 11th to launch an NGO coalition mandate to address the escalating cases of child and youth sexual abuse. Chairperson for the NGO coalition, Thomas Holmes, says the coalition was established to protect and guide children.
A couple months ago, Kariman invited some other NGOs for us to come together and address the situation of the escalating child abuse situations in Dominica. And a number of NGOs responded promptly, and then we met. And from that first meeting, we met and we formed what we call the NGO Coalition.
The Dominica NGO Coalition for the Protection of Children and Youth is a step forward to create a safer environment for young persons. According to data collected, over 490 child sexual abuse cases were reported in Dominica between 2009 and 2012.
The predominant types of child sexual abuse in Dominica are incest, exploitative sexual acts between adult men and underage boys, with the predominant activities being unlawful carnal knowledge, touching and fondling, oral sex, anal sex, and viewing of pornographic material.
Holmes noted that persons trusted to protect these children are sometimes the ones who abuse them. The coalition will seek to promote a society free of all abuse and violence through advocacy. Members of the Dominica NGO Coalition for the Protection of Children and Youth include the Dominican National Council of Women, the Caribbean Male Action Network, CARIMAN, Child Fund Caribbean, Lifeline Ministries, Dominica Planned Parenthood Association, the National Youth Council, a Ghana program, and the Dominica Olympic Committee, among others. Despite reports by residents in the Roseau Valley of what appeared to be a fire at the geothermal production well test site, Project Officer of the Geothermal Project Management Unit, Alexis George, says there was no fire. George stated at about 8:30 p.m. on Tuesday, June 10th, he received numerous calls stating there was a fire at the site and went to investigate.
What I noticed was that as the steam passes, there's a street light or lamppost that's outside the entrance of the site. As the steam passes by the lamppost, it gives an orange glow, which from a distance, one could probably think that it would be a fire. But that's all it was. It's just the steam passing by the post, there was an orange glow, so it appeared that there was a fire, but there was no fire.
George noted the residents of the Roseau Valley will continue to view this light throughout the testing period. He also revealed that day one of the flow test was successful and incident-free.
In terms of what we have seen so far, the flow rates of the steam and fluid and the temperatures, I think that we have a very, very excellent production here in Lula. We'll be continuing monitoring information in terms of the flow rate, the pressures, temperatures, collecting samples of the fluid, samples of the steam. So that will be ongoing for the next few days.
George explained in the next few days the flow of the well will be increased from the original 10% with a target of 100% if the conditions are right.
Greetings to all our Kalinago brothers and sisters in Waitukubuli, Dominica, from Naguaque community in Boriquen, Puerto Rico.
On July 4, 2014, Dominica's indigenous Kalinago people will celebrate their 111th year of existence. The celebration, administered under the theme Indigenous Communities Uniting Our Strengths to Build Our Culture, will signify the life and preservation of the unique culture and traditions of Dominica's first people. During this time, the Kalinago territory, in partnership with the people of Boriquen, Puerto Rico, will host several activities including cultural, economic, professional, and educational exchanges between the two parties. This is according to Caroline Melendez in the Office of Community and Legal Affairs in Humacao.
In commemoration of this event, we have created a program to begin cultural educational exchange between our two communities. The program will be known as Kalinaguaque. As we look forward to this exchange and alliance, we envision a growing awareness and appreciation of our culture and people.
The indigenous peoples share the common challenges of cultural linguistic revitalization, indigenous identity and pride, nation building and governance over land and natural resources. The Kalinago Indigenous Nation Developers, KIND, has therefore reunited the Kalinago territory with its native brothers and sisters of Arawak and Carib descent to unite in ethno-historical and cultural revival.
Our visit to Kalinago territory will dispel all myths of Kalinago and Taino relationships written by the invaders of our islands. We Kalinago Taino people have more in common than what many think. There are many more things that unite us than separate us.
A delegation comprising of representatives from the Office of the Mayor in Humacao, government officials from the Office of the Community and Indigenous Affairs, and members of the Nagua Cabina community are expected to visit Dominica. The officials will arrive on July 1st, while the Nagua Cabina indigenous community arrives on July 2nd, following a historic event reenacting the legendary journey sailing from Puerto Rico to our island shores. When we return, more stories.
I made a stupid mistake.
See where it's now landed me.
My baby's now behind bars.
feels forgotten by society.
It's time for us to make a change. All of us make a change. Juvenile Justice Reform Project. All of us make a change.
Make a change.
Instead of incarceration, y'all, let's try diversion, reform, rehabilitation.
Our youth needs a second chance
Beyond bars, a world that accepts them with open arms.
It's nice to know that you're here.
Just know that we care.
This time we'll do our part. Let's all make a fresh start.
It's time for us to make a change. All of us make a change. Juvenile Justice Reform Project. All of us make a change.
Make a change.
The Juvenile Justice Reform Project, a new path to changing lives for good, funded by USAID and the OECS Secretariat.
Senior attorney at law and member of the Dominica Bar Association, Henry Dyer, is of the view that Dominican attorneys should engage more frequently in pro bono work. He said this is important because there are many persons who cannot afford an attorney.
And even although there's a legal aid clinic sponsored by the government, it's not enough. It's inadequate, and therefore you must look at the lawyers giving back something to the community. The independence of the judiciary is so very important, which tells you why the legal profession is so important in our society.
Dyer pointed out that the Bar Association's annual law fair, which offers free consultations to persons who cannot afford an attorney, is very important and necessary. This, he says, allows persons to be better informed with legal advice as opposed to being unrepresented during court proceedings.
There are hundreds of people out there, that they feel they cannot afford to go to a lawyer, and rather than, they just stay there. And sometimes it can be a very not involved, it can be a simple matter that requires a simple solution. But they feel that, boy, I don't have to go, I don't have money to go to a lawyer, and therefore let me not,
He explained that attorneys are here to assist in the development of the country and not just to make money, like some people may think. Dyer noted, although the annual law fair does assist many individuals, he would like to see it taking place at least twice a year so a larger cross-section of individuals are assisted. According to the attorney, individuals can save a lot of money in various court proceedings if they take the time to consult with an attorney rather than saying they cannot afford one. Public Service Day 2014 will be celebrated under the theme An Efficient Service, a Sustainable Future. The biennial observance of Public Service Day is an opportunity to heighten awareness of the public sector's role in the country's national development and to forge greater linkages with stakeholders. As part of the activities leading to the celebration of Public Service Day, scheduled for December 5, 2014, the Establishment, Personnel and Training Department has organized a hike on Segment 10, Qualiho to Syndicate of the Waitukubuli National Trail. The hike is planned for Saturday, June 14, 2014, and is open to all public officers as well as interested families and friends. Transportation will be provided, and persons are expected to meet on the Dame Eugenia Charles Boulevard from 5 a.m. All interested individuals should contact the Establishment, Personnel and Training Department of Government Headquarters, Roto Dominica. Parliamentary representative from the Grand Bay constituency and Minister for Culture, Youth and Sports, Honorable Justina Charles, is pleased with the progress of work on the Lale Road in Grand Bay. Like her constituents, Minister Charles is excited about the project, noting that it has enhanced the whole aesthetics of the village. The road now is much larger, the surface is neat and all new. The drains are covered, so we will have less exposure of waste, she said. The project involves the replacement of aged water pipes, complete rehabilitation and resurfacing of the road, construction of covered drains and construction of sidewalks. The government has dedicated a total of $3 million to the project. And in court news, Gavin Alexander, Brandon Gist, Timmy Elwa and Emerson Alexander of Kingshill have each been placed on $20,000 bond after having been jointly charged with the shooting of Fitzroy Mike with intent to cause him grievous bodily harm. The incident occurred on June 5, 2014 at Grand Bay. The offense is indictable and a plea was not required. The prosecution objected to bail on the grounds that the offense was of a serious nature. The investigation was still ongoing. Other defendants were being pursued, and the firearm allegedly used to commit the offense was still missing. However, Magistrate Bernard Paquette granted bail, citing the fact that these reasons were not sufficient enough to deny bail to the defendants. Bail was set at $20,000. November 25, 2014 is the date set for the start of the preliminary inquiry. Meanwhile, Elwa was charged with possession and intent to supply 70 grams of cannabis on June 5, 2014. He pleaded guilty to possession, but not guilty to intent to supply. The matter has also been adjourned to November 25th for trial and sentencing. Attorney Joshua Francis represented all 4 defendants. This has been the local segment of the news.